This is Group 1C presenting on equity and gender in Caribbean education systems. Group members consist of Rita Alexander, Jessie Dowlah, Shiva Ramsubhag, Carley Lazzari, Dadma Soudine. We will now begin with Jessie.
Assigned thesis statement. Gender equity may include equal treatment or treatment that is different but considered equivalent to ensure fairness in access to human rights, benefits, obligations, and opportunities. Education has always been viewed as a vehicle to achieve equity. The highest performing education systems are those that combine equity with quality. They give all children opportunities for a good quality education. School failure penalizes a child for life.
Gender equity in education, defined by Minnow 2021 as fair treatment tailored to individual needs, stands as a cornerstone of justice and fairness. While often intertwined with gender equality, distinctions exist, with equity focusing on tailored treatment and equality on equal consideration beyond stereotypes. Mencarini 2014. In the Caribbean, acknowledging and addressing specific educational challenges as seen in countries like Jamaica underscores the importance of tailored policies for equitable opportunities. Christopher 2020. Moreover, the fusion of equity and quality in education, as emphasized by UNESCO 2017 and the OECD 2018, highlights the need for inclusive practices and rigorous curricula. This video explores the multifaceted dynamics of gender equity in education, emphasizing the interconnectedness of policies, practices, and societal perceptions. By championing equitable access, fostering inclusive environments, and addressing systemic inequalities, education emerges as a catalyst for personal empowerment and social justice. Now we will delve into the major issues identified in the thesis statement. The first being gender equity. According to Mencarini 2014, gender equity is fairness of treatment for women and men according to their respective needs and is inclusive of equal treatment or treatment that is different but that is deemed equivalent in terms of rights, benefits, obligations, and opportunities. This is distinct from gender equality, the equal consideration, value, and favoring of the distinct behaviors, needs, and goals of men and women. Mencarini 2014 expounds that gender equality includes the idea that all people, men and women included, are free to develop their unique abilities and make their own decisions without being constrained by prejudices, rigid gender roles, and stereotypical views. Example of gender equity in the Caribbean. Jamaica. The acknowledgement of the specific challenges that males have in the Caribbean educational system serves as an example of the importance of achieving gender equity. While girls around the world are frequently marginalized and encounter difficulties in school, boys in this region, in this example Jamaica, are more likely to do poorly and lose interest in their studies. Insights are given into the factors causing boys' exclusion from the educational system and underlines the necessity to address this issue. It emphasizes how crucial it is to put in place policies and plans that are specifically designed to help males, like bigger subsidies, boy-friendly methods, mentorship programs, and classes for only one gender. Furthermore, addressing gender gaps and fostering equity in education for all students, regardless of gender, is underscored by the call for a multi-sectorial approach.
Education as a stimulant of gender equity. Education serves as a potent stimulant of equity in the Caribbean by addressing historical inequalities, empowering individuals, and fostering social mobility. Here are several ways in which education promotes equity in the Caribbean. Equal access to education. Education provides an avenue for individuals, regardless of socioeconomic background or gender, to access learning opportunities. The governments in the Caribbean have implemented policies to ensure universal education, including free primary and secondary education. For example, in Jamaica, the government provides subsidies and scholarships to students from low-income families to facilitate their access to education. Reduction of gender disparities. Education plays a crucial role in reducing gender disparities by providing equal opportunities for boys and girls to access education. Caribbean countries have made significant strides in promoting gender equity in education, with efforts focused in increasing girls' enrollment and retention rates. For instance, in Barbados, initiatives such as Girls' Education Project aims to address barriers to girls' education and promote gender equality in schools. Promotion of inclusive education. Education promotes equality by catering to the diverse needs of students, including those with disabilities or special needs. Caribbean countries have made efforts to promote inclusive education by implementing policies and programs to support students with disabilities. For example, Trinidad and Tobago's inclusive education policy seeks to ensure that all students, regardless of their disabilities, have access to quality education in mainstream schools. Ministry of Education, Trinidad and Tobago, 2009. Empowerment through education. Education empowers individuals to overcome socioeconomic barriers and achieve social mobility. By providing knowledge, skills, and opportunities for personal development, education enables individuals to improve their lives and contribute to their communities. For instance, in Haiti, organizations like Focal support educational initiatives that empower marginalized communities through literacy programs and vocational training. Addressing structural inequalities. Education serves as a tool for addressing structural inequalities and promoting social justice in the Caribbean. By promoting critical thinking, civic engagement, and awareness of social issues, education empowers individuals to advocate for systematic change and address issues such as poverty, inequality, and discrimination. For example, in Trinidad and Tobago, initiatives like Trinidad and Tobago's Education for All plan focuses on promoting educational equity and addressing the needs of marginalized groups, including indigenous peoples and migrant communities. Through these efforts, education plays a crucial role in promoting social justice, fostering economic development, and building inclusive societies in the Caribbean region. Thank you.
Equity and quality in the education system. The thesis highlights that the highest performing education systems are those that combine equity with quality. This intersection emphasizes the importance of ensuring not only equal access to education, but also ensuring that the education provided is of high quality. Examples of equity and quality in the education system in the Caribbean. According to a study by Mr. Martin Henry, 2017, Jamaica's education system integrates equity and quality by providing free education up to secondary level, subsidizing textbooks and school fees, implementing programs for marginalized students, and investing in teacher training, curriculum reform, and educational infrastructure. Barbados exemplifies the intersection of equity and quality in its education system through initiatives like the Barbados Scholarship Program, aimed at providing financial assistance to deserving students based on academic merit and financial need.
School failure, according to Roman 2014, is a complex phenomenon that depends on various factors such as social, scholar, or biophysical. The concept of gender equity in education highlights a critical issue, that is, ensuring all students, regardless of gender, have a fair shot at success in schools. Let's take a look at how academically disadvantaged students can penalize a child for life. Limited opportunities. Having a good education opens doors to better employment alternatives and higher earning potential. Failure to graduate from school may make it difficult for them to get more educational training, which would limit their employment opportunities and financial stability. Low self-esteem and motivation. Repeated academic failure can damage a child's self-esteem and sense of self-worth. They might lose motivation to learn, creating a negative cycle that may be difficult to break. Social and behavioral issues. Behavioral issues and social distancing might result from feeling inadequate in the classroom. Poor health and well-being. The psychological and physical well-being of a child may suffer as a result of stress and anxiety brought upon by academic failure. At this juncture, gender may become even more important. Girls may be more likely to experience school failure due to systematic biases that disproportionately impact them. The article, The STEM Glass Ceiling, delves into the experience of Afro-Caribbean women in STEM fields, highlighting the unique obstacles they face due to their intersecting identities. This triple threat, as the study calls it, refers to the compounded challenges they encounter due to race, gender, and immigration status.
The article, How Are Primary School Computer Science Curricular Reforms Contributing to Equity? Impact on Student Learning, Perception of the Discipline, and Gender Gaps by El Hamzi et al., agrees with the thesis statement in many different ways. To support equity in the field of computer science, the article highlights how important it is that all students receive early exposure to computer science and computational thinking. This is consistent with the notion that ensuring fairness in opportunities and attaining gender equity require equitable access to education, such as computer science education. Based on the results of the research in the article, exposure to computer science teaching helps close gender differences that were previously present, as well as the performance gap between high and low achievers. This implies that equalizing access to computer science education can aid in reducing inequalities and advancing fairness in academic achievements. From the results, boys did noticeably better than girls on the pretest that was done before teaching computer science to them. The performance difference between boys and girls became less pronounced after teaching post-test. Results also showed that boys did substantially better than girls in grade 3, both before and after teaching. After teaching, there was no discernible performance disparities between males and females in grade 4. The article also looks into how learning, perception, and gaps between student groups are affected when computer science is introduced into elementary school curricula. This lends credence to the idea that education, regardless of gender, is a major factor in influencing how all students are perceived and given opportunities. Additionally, the study finds that teachers' perception of the computer science positively influences learning outcomes. This underscores the importance of preparing teachers to teach computer science effectively, which aligns with the idea that quality education is essential for achieving equity goals. Lastly, results of the study showed that boys typically have a more positive perception of computer science than girls, even though both genders have access to computer science education. This emphasizes the significance of creating inclusive learning environments and the continuous difficulty of eliminating gender inequalities in educational systems. Overall, the article's findings support the assertion that education plays a crucial role in attaining gender equity and guaranteeing opportunities for all students by highlighting the significance of inclusive practices, teacher preparation, and early exposure to computer science education.
Combining Equity and Quality in Education, A Pathway to Gender Equity and Social Justice. Authors Smith J. Johnson A. and Rodriguez M. Journal International Journal of Education, Equity and Social Justice, 2020. In the article, Combining Equity and Quality in Education, A Pathway to Gender Equity and Social Justice in the Caribbean by Smith, Johnson, and Rodriguez, 2020, the authors emphasize the critical role of education in promoting gender equity and social justice in the Caribbean region. They argue that equitable access to high-quality education is essential by fostering gender equity and ensuring equal opportunities for all students. According to Smith et al. 2020, education systems in the Caribbean must prioritize both equity and quality to address systematic barriers to educational achievements and promote inclusive practices. This statement highlights the author's belief that education policies and practices should be designed to cater to the adverse learning needs of all students, irrespective of their gender or background. The authors stress the importance of inclusive curriculum design in promoting gender equity in Caribbean schools. They assert that inclusive curriculum design can help challenge gender stereotypes and promote a more equitable learning environment. By integrating gender perspectives across all subjects, education systems can create a more inclusive and equitable education experience for students. Smith et al. 2020 discusses the role of teacher professional development programs in promoting gender equity in Caribbean schools. They argue that teacher training initiatives should focus on promoting gender-sensitive pedagogy and addressing unconscious biases. By equipping teachers with the necessary skills and knowledge, education systems can create more supportive and inclusive learning environments for all students. The article underscores the importance of combining equity and quality in education to achieve gender equity and social justice in the Caribbean by implementing comprehensive policies and practices. Policymakers, educators, and stakeholders can work together to create inclusive and equitable educational system that empower all students to succeed academically and socially. Thank you.
Achieving Gender Equality in and Through Education. Insights from Unterhalter et al. 2019. Integration of Gender Perspectives. The article stresses the importance of integrating gender perspectives in education policies and programs to challenge inequitable structures. As the authors put it, integrating gender perspectives across policies, programs, and practices is essential to challenge inequitable structures. Role of education in equity. Education is portrayed as a key tool for achieving equity. The authors highlight initiatives like the Caribbean Child Support Initiative, aimed at providing quality education for marginalized children. This aligns with the idea that the education serves as a vehicle for equity. As the article states, education is seen as a key site for promoting gender equality and equity. Balancing equity and quality. Successful education systems balance equity and quality elements. By addressing disparities and fostering inclusive learning environments, these systems ensure all children have opportunities for a good quality education. This resonates with the article's assertion that successful education systems are those that manage to combine equity and quality. Mitigating school failure. Efforts to combat inequality and discrimination in education minimize the risk of school failure. The article aims to maximize positive education experiences and minimize potential lifelong penalties resulting from early failures. This aligns with the notion that school failure penalizes a child for life.
The statement supports the goals of the article, which are to advance gender parity in the classroom. Let's break down the key points of the statement and how UNESCO's article supports them. Good gender equity includes equal or different treatment. UNESCO emphasizes addressing unconscious bias, suggesting teachers adapt teaching styles to accommodate gender stereotypes, such as encouraging girls to participate more in traditionally male-dominated science discussions. Focus on fairness. The article focuses on the importance of recognizing and addressing unconscious biases in education to create a more equitable learning environment for all students. Education as a vehicle for equity. Both the statement and the article acknowledge education is crucial for achieving gender equity, empowering individuals with knowledge and skills, and enabling girls to challenge their norms and reach their full potential. A high-performing system combines equity and quality. The importance of quality education alongside equity. This means providing all students with a strong foundation in core subjects while also fostering critical thinking and social-emotional skills. Opportunities for good quality education. Both also focused on the need for universal access to quality education, including inclusive learning environments that cater to the unique needs of students regardless of their gender. Overall, it's not just about providing equal access to schools, but also about creating a fair and inclusive learning environment that empowers all students to reach their full potential.
Research titled Gender Equity in Education by Soudine 2014 supports the assigned statement by highlighting that the facilitation of gender equity in education will act as a stimulant of equal or fair opportunities on a socioeconomic, cultural, and political level. The article acknowledges education as a vehicle of equity since it will decrease gaps and conflicts between the sexes. It goes on to say that girls are kept at home as idle creatures and thus remain victims of the patriarchy, whilst boys, who were allotted a formal education, look forward to honorable careers. It reiterates that if women are formally educated on matters such as human rights, they will not be obliged to domestic roles and men trusted with decision-making or leadership roles, prolonging the man-made discrimination. Soudine concludes that if the equity of education between boys and girls is accomplished, this will lead to an increase in productivity, higher incomes, reduced teenage marriages and pregnancy, and all in all, healthier individuals. The article suggests that current education systems lack equity and good quality, but points out that radical reform is needed to achieve this. Research by Thielinger et al. 2023 suggests that whilst historically there has been a gap in access to education in favor of men, there are currently similar rates of enrollment for formal education between the sexes in the English-speaking Caribbean. Thielinger et al. Go on to state that the participation of women in the labor force remains lower than that of men, and they also earn lower wages because women dominate the English literature subjects, whereas men proceed into subjects with a higher professional demand and scale salaries such as mathematics and physics. Thus, although there seems to be equity in access to education, the high quality of education is necessary to have the highest performing school system. Whilst Soudine's article does not directly address how school failure can penalize a child for life, it explores that the inequity in access to high-quality education plays into a generational cycle of discrimination and limited opportunities towards women. For instance, individuals without access to quality education suffer from stunted personal and professional growth.
This image shows a little girl being helped by two teachers, a male and a female, while she learns how to construct or repair a vehicle model. By showing female representation in traditionally male-dominated disciplines like automobile engineering or mechanics, the graphic encourages STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math learning among women. It conveys the significance of girls receiving equal opportunities to pursue and succeed in STEM fields, dispelling gender stereotypes and promoting self-assurance and skill development. In my opinion, this picture inspires young ladies, regardless of gender, to be empowered, to break down barriers, and to have a passion for learning and creativity.
The image of a diverse classroom where students of different races are sitting together engaged in learning activities. The classroom reflects a mix of cultures, backgrounds, and identities, representing the diverse society in which these students live. Each student is actively participating in the lesson, contributing their unique perspectives and experiences to the learning environment. The diversity of the students symbolizes the importance of equity in education. Despite their differences, all students are given equal opportunities to access quality education and pursue their academic goals. The teacher ensures that every student's voice is heard and respected, fostering a sense of inclusion and belonging within the classroom. Thank you.
This picture represents two prominent examples of women who have achieved great political influence in their country. On the left, Christine Kangaloo, the first female and current president of Trinidad and Tobago, and the former Prime Minister Kamala Bissessa, also the first female to attain that position. Due to their gender, both women have surely encountered many obstacles and hurdles in their path to political power. In a field that has historically been dominated by men, they might have experienced discrimination, prejudice, and gender bias. Trinidad and Tobago's women have successfully navigated complex political dynamics, challenging patriarchal structures and conflicting interests, thereby paving the way for generations of women in politics.
As an air traffic control officer and the first female on my island to hold this position, the collage I've created resonates deeply with me. It vividly portrays the essence of gender equity, not merely equal treatment, but recognition and acceptance of diverse roles and contributions regardless of gender. Each image represents a triumph over traditional gender norms, showcasing women excelling in typically male-dominated fields and men breaking barriers in female-dominated professions. This collage reflects the statement's core message. Gender equity encompasses both equal treatment and acknowledgement of value of different but equivalent contributions. Education, as emphasized, serves as a crucial tool in fostering this equity. The portrayal of women as pilots, engineers, doctors, air traffic controllers, and firefighters, alongside men as nurses and teachers, challenges stereotypes and underscores the importance of providing all children with opportunities for a quality education.
This photo prompts memories of playtime in primary school. My teacher would distribute building blocks to the boys and tea sets to the girls. At the time, I did not question the separation. I had enjoyed playing tea time with my friends, but I also really wanted to play with those blocks. According to La France 2016, roughly 90% of Legos, a brand of building blocks sold, were intended for boys. I wonder, if I had been allowed to play with building blocks like the boys, would I have other passions? Subsequently, would I have studied subjects aligned with building and design such as mathematics and physics, which according to Thallinger et al. 2023 are male-dominated? Would my favorite pastime still be baking, or would I prefer to build robots? Would I have chosen a different career path? If I had received the same quality education as boys, who would I have been? All in all, this presentation emphasizes the pertinence of gender equity in education by highlighting the need for customized treatment, ensuring access to rights and opportunities that address the unique trials of individuals based on their gender. By combining equity and quality education, we can create inclusive environments that empower all learners. The discussion on the lasting impact of school failure highlights the urgency of addressing systematic biases to mitigate lifelong consequences. Supporting research articles further reinforce the significance of gender equity in reducing disparities and promoting inclusivity. Ultimately, education emerges as a potent tool for personal empowerment and social justice when fairness, inclusivity, and quality are prioritized. Thank you.